Hello, it's Dave Lane from Dutch Tents UK, again with another tent walk around video. This is something really quite special. I've been after one of these for years. They're a bit rare and they are, well, extremely special. It's from a legendary trailer tent company, Dutch producer of course, a company called Aart. No sniggering there at the back please, KOK. And the story goes that back in the end of the 1990s, both Holt Camper, who are also a legendary Dutch trailer tent producer, and Aart, both independently came to the same conclusion that they wanted to get into the tent market. And they needed to produce something pretty special, something at least on par with the Ward's Albatross, or preferably better. Holt Camper produced their awesome Utopia range. The XL is an amazing tent. They actually built the front side wings into the main tent, where as you can see, this tent is a traditional Dutch style. It does have side wings with it. It does have a variolifer with it that we're going to see, but the side wings zip on. This is an enormous tent. You'll see in a minute when we go inside. It's very big and it's very special. It's made from Vice-Link's KS202 canvas, the same stuff that the Ward and Randstad and Karsten used to use. But this is an amazing tent. It's got lots of tricks up its sleeve. You might notice along the roof line there's some sort of weird stripe. Well, that's Velcro, and underneath there is a zip right along there, because on this tent you can unzip the entire side and roll it back. Inside there's lots of tie points to do that. You can do it on both sides. It's always very interesting with pyramid tents. If you look at the new Ward, the Kingsize, I think they're called, range, the Ward has started to make some tents that have it is effectively a huge canopy, and then you have the zipped up bedroom area, so you don't really get a living space that has a ground sheet with a front door on it. I think there's a good argument for that for quite some basic camping you just need a big awning, and then you just need the bedroom. A lot of the time the living spaces inside tents is this where you store stuff. You kind of have the same thing with this tent. Once you zip it back, you would leave the roof section up, but you would be able to open up the sides. So on a nice sunny day, the moment I've got the sun on the left side of this tent, so you'd perhaps open up the other side and you'd have a huge shaded area under a big awning, but inside the tent. But then on top of that, they went and stuck a variolifer on the front of this, giving you even more space. And then there's a wonderful inner tent with a woolen carpet. Let's have a quick wander around. The first thing to note, I think, is the distance between the king pole spike and trundle all the way down to the door pole. So you can see the inner living area in this is massive. It's much longer than a normal pyramid tent. So whilst it's 3.9 meters wide, it's 5 meters long. So this is a big this is a big tent. Probably needs a little bit more tension on some of the guy ropes. I'll do that once I've got it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is freeze frame now, and I'm going to start building up the rest of the tent with the side wings, the variolifer and the inner tent. Oh, before we do, let's just go inside and have a little look. Wonderful, wonderful. Do you know what I love about pyramid tents is this, that patterning you get. The albatross, of course, towards albatross is, is legendary for that. Looks beautiful, as does this. So very, very deep side walls. See the vents at the back. So these strings hanging down, no, they haven't put them there to annoy you. So this is where, you see there's the roof zip. So when you want to tie this back, you can tie it back in sections. You can tie it back that far, or you can go that far, or you can go all the way back. So you would simply unzip the zipped in ground sheet at the bottom and roll it all back. So I'm going to set that up for you soon. But now I'm going to go and put the Variolifal on and get some shade because it's a bloody hot day. Back in a minute. Okay, so there we have the two side wings in place. And just with these alone, it's starting to look impressive. I've never seen one of these in the flesh in full sails, as they say. So I'm rather looking forward to this. Back in a moment. Just as we put all this together, I want to give you an idea of the sort of the big difference in engineering, if you like, between really good Dutch tents and stuff that frankly anybody else in the world makes. So this is the junction. We've got the side wing zip there. We've got another zip here. It's going to zip on to here. So this is the Variolifal. It goes through a hoop there, and then in addition the side wing also attaches on there. I mean, just the materials in these. Look at these huge YKK zips. I mean, you wouldn't want one of those around your lug hole, would you? Everything is just monstrous. And then the stitching on the top. This isn't unlike, a De Ward or a Karsten or a Holt camper, or even a Randstad. But just look at that, the build quality. How on earth do you make this in a factory? How do you sew all that together, getting it all so perfect? I mean, look at the stitching on it. So when you're paying a lot of money for second-hand Dutch canvas tents, this is the sort of thing where the cost is. It's just this sumptuous build quality, and I'm afraid I think it's why a lot of why Aart don't produce tents anymore, and why Holt camper. I think it's just too expensive and technically difficult. Their trailer tents are expensive enough. Check out the prices on their websites to see what I mean. But yeah. So anyway, let's get back to putting this up, and I'll stop waffling. Do I need to talk? That's stunning. Jesus, look at the scale of this. I've never seen the likes of this. I've had a De Ward Vergroote Silvermeer with a Variolifal. Now that's awesome. This, Jesus. Wow. Oh my God. That is absolutely incredible. whilst I'm here, let's have a quick look at the condition. Canvas is beautiful. I know its history. It was I bought it from the first owner, and they've used it as a family tent 3 or 4 times in the same campsite in Switzerland. And there's a few minor little stains that are really nothing. I'm thinking that with some water and a plastic brush, these are just going to wash straight off. Trying to find some just very small minor stuff. Almost can't look at it, it's so bright. Now the Variolifal was bought separately, it came later. So they just had the base tent and then they added to it. So it is it's difficult to see here, slightly different shade. I believe the Variolife has only been used for one holiday. Now it's got some interesting shading to it. Which I'm not sure what that is. I think it's some fading. I wonder if it was when it was wrapped up in its bag, if it was I don't know, somewhere where the sun could get at it. It's okay, not a problem. It's in immaculate condition. The space under here is amazing. I'm ever so sorry, Deward, but eat your heart out. This is more amazing than an albatross with a Variolifal. It's bigger for one thing. I might start playing around with some shapes of this just to show you what you can do with them in a minute. Before I do that, I'm going to put you on hold again and just pop the inner tent in, because that's something to see as well. So before I put the inner tent up, I'm just going to give you a bit of a guided tour of it. I was talking about build quality earlier. Look at this. So this is the back, this is the seams, this is the front wall, there's a netting at the top there, and we've got a cotton canvas front there. I said the carpet was wool, there it is. So using wool carpets on Dutch tents is not actually uncommon. The Hot Camper Utopias have them in theirs. De Woord often use material like this, in fact remarkably similar to this. I wonder if it's the same stuff. But also in some of the smaller lightweight cycling and backpacking tents from Carl Denning and Erdmann Schmidt, they often have a fit-in carpet very similar to this, just to add a little bit of luxury. But that's the floor of your inner tent. It's wool. Wow. Okay, so let's pop this up. In fact, before I put the whole thing up, I'm just going to show you a little tip. See the back of the tent's all floppy now. What I've done is I've angled the king pole. I can now reach, because what I need to do is I'm going to lift that up so I can attach this over it. Okay, back in a minute. Ta-da! Okay, there's the inner tent. I said earlier how deep this tent was. So there's the inner tent. There's the front wall. Typically, on most tents, if your inner tent was there, you'd expect the wall somewhere there. Not there. So this is deep. There's a lot of space in here. So I'm thinking dining table, 6 chairs, waiter service. Have a little peek in there. And let's go inside. So 2 large bedrooms. This is a comfortable 6-berther. You will fit 3 sleep mats and people in there comfortably. For 2 people, absolutely palatial. This is luxury camping. Sorry, to hell with your bell tents when you're glamping. This is a different thing altogether. This is just absolutely amazing, this thing. Okay, I'm gonna call it. This is the best tent I've ever owned, I've ever bought. And I've had some really, really beautiful tents. I've had a virtually new Holt Camper Utopia. I had a Silvermew once, a Deward Silvermew, an earlier one from the 70s, used 1 week, absolutely pristine. And I also had a pristine Mark II Silvermew that went down to Kent. Again, amazing, really amazing to get tents like that. I had a Carl Denning Stir, which was new. Last year I had a beautiful Baco 340 pyramid tent that had already been pitched once. This has been used a little bit more time, but this is another level of camping. You pitch this up against somebody with a Deward Albatross with a Variolifle and they are going to be hacked off with the competition. They're not going to like it. Don't really know what to say anymore. It's just it's amazing. I think there are some things I need to say with this tent. This has taken a bit of time to build up. So for example, the door here, it zips in. So it's not sewn into the tent, it zips in. So that had to be zipped in. And then you have to zip on the side wings, zip on the Variolifle, fit in the bedroom. So as a full build-up on this tent, it's going to take you an hour and a half. With 2 people, you're going to be able to cut that down. I would say though that if you just use this tent, if you for a weekend, leave the inner tent at home and keep the side wings, but leave the Variolifle. This will be as quick to put up as any other pyramid tent. There's nothing any more complicated about it. So now we've done all this, I'm going to have to do one more thing, aren't I? I'm going to have to roll back the side. So I'm not quite sure how this works with the Variolifle. I'm going to have a little play with this, but I do need to do this. I need to see it for myself. I've seen it in pictures, but I need to see how this works. So again, bear with me, and I'll be back in, well, for you, a second. Again, conglomeration of zips. So this zip here is for the door, and the zip I want is that one. Unzip the roof. So I've worked out that we need to unzip the side wing. You can leave the side wing in place. Now this is just Velcro. So look at this. Big gaping hole. So now we need to unzip the base of the tent from the ground sheet, and then I think also lose the pegs there, and then we'll be able to roll this back. So let's see what this is going to be like. Okay, I don't mind telling you, I wasn't looking forward to doing that. It was actually really, really easy. It took me about 3 minutes. And now look what you get. You can leave the side wing and the Variolifle in place. Remember what I was saying earlier about the Deward, the smaller Deward tents? So even without your Variolifle, here, blistering heat today, well, blistering heat, sorry. It's about 23, but it's full sun here with no shade, so it's hot. But this, now, wow. Put your chairs, table in here, and there you are. You're just looking out on the outdoor gym. Yeah, imagine, okay, there isn't a bunch of bars there. Imagine you're looking over a view into Wales or into the sea or somewhere. Then if you want, you've still got the Vario fluffle in place. Now, there aren't many tents that you can do this with. Right, well, I think I've showcased everything on this. I'm going to reiterate one more time. This is the best tent I've ever owned. This is amazing. But short-lived, because it's for sale. Yeah. There's only me and my wife and the whippet now. Daughter's 18. She probably won't come camping with us. We have our little Randstad otter. Nice old, bit battered around the edges. I like them like that. And that's fine for the two of us and the hound. Something like this is a bit overkill. But if you've got a family with young kids and you know that you're going to be doing either staycations here in the UK or just popping over to France maybe, if you want to stay in the UK and you want a proper storm tent that is going to be able to do this in really hot weather, but when you bolt it down, it's going to take the wind and rain loads that you would expect with a quality bit of kit like this, that you and your family are going to be safe for a week or two on the cliff tops of Cornwall or, oh, I don't know, if you're lucky enough, on Agnes or St Mary's on the Isles of Scilly. Oh, could you imagine this? Oh my lord, could you imagine this on the campsite at Agnes? Unbelievable. That would be the crowning glory for something like this. Sorry, I'm really waffling now. It's just really nice to see this. Yeah, it'll be on my Facebook page. I'll tell you now, it's going to be expensive, but in comparison to some of the brand new Vango and sort of tunnel tents, it's actually cheap. And I guarantee you that even the very best Outwell or Vango will only live half as long as this thing will. So if you buy this, it is an investment. Yeah. If I get it onto my Facebook page, it won't be there long, so if it even gets that far. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and you can go and do something else now. Thank you.